All right, we'll roll with it.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Rated M for Podcast. Your new favorite podcast is Not How It Goes. I fucked that up. Part of the Rated M Gaming Network.
Woo!
It's a day. It's a day of the week. It's episode 47 or something. I'm Rory. I'm hosting, and Drew already is regretting it. I can see it on his face.
No, this is
Say
great.
hello to
I'm
my
loving this.
cohorts here. Drew Freeman, say
Yes.
what's up.
Hello. Hey, cohorts. What's up?
And do I call you William or Alex now?
No,
Because
you
I'm
call
weird.
me
I know,
now,
right? The
because it's
Skype
on
really throws
camera.
people off because it's like it says William here, and I don't know who you are.
I should change that. Hey guys, what's going on? Pizza Power.
All right. Oh, Pizza Power, Samurai Pizza Cats. Is that you're
Jesus
pulling that
Christ.
one out now?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. We'll see the theme song for the end of the show, everybody.
There you go.
So, we're gonna have a good show today, I guess. We're gonna talk about some stuff. We'll
I
get to we'll
guess.
get to it. You know, there's some news, some delays, some announcements, some fun stuff. But we'll start off the show as we always do with what you playing. Drew, what you playing, buddy?
Oh well, Far Cry 4, all over the place. After this though, I'll be playing. Sorry, the fan on my laptop just like went into ultrasonic mode as soon as I started talking. So I apologize if you hear that. After this though, I plan on playing some Dragon Age Inquisition because it's free for the weekend, and I still haven't fucking played it yet. So I'll be checking that out. As far as what I played in the last week, also, I played a fuck ton of Halo. We sure played a lot of video games last weekend for the 1 year anniversary. Thanks again to everybody tuning in for that.
Awesome time.
Yeah, that was hella fun, and good job, Alex. I went back and listened to most of the episode, and it sounds slightly understandable.
Excellent, because that was a monster.
Oh
of a
yeah,
show.
yeah. It was
How
gross.
many people did we have on there during our peak? Like
8?
8 or something?
Yeah, I think we maxed out around 8.
That's
It's
a good time.
ridiculous. That was a horrible idea. So, just so you guys know, that horrible idea that we had, I think we're gonna do that like once a month. So,
I think it was brilliant, personally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's still in discussion, everybody. Don't get too excited. But we'll see what happens. So, Drew, what else has been going on? You've been playing some Far Cry. How far into the game are you? Are you stoked on it? What's up?
Yeah, so I've been trying to open up a little more of the map more aggressively. So I've been like targeting towers. I've been trying to stay away from bases because I saw how that's a bad idea in Far Cry 3. So I'm a little once bitten, twice shy about like actually taking out bases because I'm afraid that it empties out the world. I have a feeling that they built mechanics into the game to where it doesn't feel that way anymore, but I'm a little nervous about taking out too many bases. That's just me.
I remember. I think it might have been an update to Far Cry 3 where they allowed you to reset the outposts.
Way
So I'm
after
wondering-
way after release they had it to where you can reset it. Now they have that as a like challenge mode in the game. It's actually like it's a recognized section of a base. When you take out an encampment, there's a little segment like pile of rubble that you can go to, and a menu pops up in world that says like, do you want to do this again? And you can do it again, but it's actually, I think as you do it again, it gets harder, I want to say.
Like each time it escalates a little bit.
Either that or you can like control the level of difficulty, but you get all these points and stuff, and there's leaderboards, and did you use explosives? Did you shoot somebody with a headshot? Did you do like a normal kill, whatever that means? Were you ever detected? Stuff like that.
Is there a reset the outpost like outright kind of
Permanently?
thing then? So if you wanted to, like, you get through near the end of the game and you're like, I want to keep playing around the world, but I want to restart these outposts. Can you just repopulate them completely?
If there is, I have a feeling you probably need to do all the like missions that are in the outpost first, but I'm just guessing. I think that was the thing that they patched into Far Cry 3 though, was just like, hey, fucking reset all the outposts or something like that.
It needed it because the game was great, but once you had like,
and that's
it's
what
a good
that's what
world
I'm
to fuck
doing right
around
now
in.
is I'm like just kind of opening up the map but trying to keep the world populated. As far as how far I am in, I'm still doing Zion. I'm trying to remember what Alex called him. Outcast from Zion.
Oh, the resident of Zion.
His name is
from the Matrix.
Longinus. If you're familiar with the game,
Oh yeah,
he's the
I
guy that
kept-
quotes the
Longinus.
Bible. Yeah.
There's so many names in that game. Every time I was streaming it, I would have to just say every pronunciation that I thought there could be of it because I had no idea.
Longinus?
I was like Longinus.
I dropped a knowledge bomb on Drew. He was like, Alex, how do you pronounce that game in the stream? I dropped this knowledge bomb on him, and he's like, Cool. So anyway,
Yeah, you're like that's the name of the spear or the guy that pierced Jesus and blah blah blah. And I was like, neat. I'm gonna go jump off this cliff now.
I'm gonna go punch some bees.
I'm really fucking loving this game though. Like Far Cry 4, for me at least for how I play it, it's finally hitting its stride. I was kind of having a hard time. We talked about this last week how, you were having a hard time kind of feeling the pull to keep playing, and I was having that too. But today I just totally zoned out while listening to a few podcasts and played for like 4 or 5 hours. I probably should have streamed all that, but I wasn't like I was just totally tuned out and like in the zone of like I'm gonna go here, and I didn't even do a lot. Now that I think about it, I just ran around and opened up sections of the map. But it was fun. It's just such a fun game. Like the mechanics are fun. The encounters are always interesting, even when you fuck it up. Like when I know that I've done something the way that I don't want to, I just go ahead and hit, reload last checkpoint, try that again, and it's a great game. It's a lot of fun.
Well,
but I do look forward to checking out Dragon Age.
I gotta admit, when I saw you playing, I haven't gone back to Far Cry 4 in a while, but when I saw you playing last week, for a little bit before on the 12-hour stream that we did for the 1 year anniversary, it made me want to boot the game back up. I was like, all right, okay, yeah, I think I'm ready to get back into this.
It's easy to hit a point where you're like, I don't really want to do this anymore. But like it's one of those things that once you step away just for a little bit, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. Like once I step away from Grand Theft Auto for a while, I just start thinking like all the fun, crazy shit I could be doing. And then when you hit that moment when you're playing regularly and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, you're probably doing something that you don't want to be doing. And you, instead of thinking of all the crazy fun shit you could be doing, you just stop playing. And then later you're like, oh man, I could have been doing all this fucking crazy shit. And then that kind of draws you back in. It's got a really good hook with it.
A lot of Far Cry. Anything else to wrap it up?
Halo. Lots of Halo. I'm looking forward to ODST.
Halos.
I just want to throw that out there. They released a screenshot.
Some screenshots.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into that online or on the Xbox One. I know it doesn't have Firefight, and I don't even know if you can co-op that campaign, but I just look forward to a lot of the mood and just the really unique aspects of that game because it's so unlike the rest of the Halo franchise. It's gonna look amazing.
I was gonna say the atmosphere in that game really stands out. It might be some of the best atmosphere the franchise has seen. Like in my personal opinion, it's so unique. It was a cool game. I didn't finish that one, but I did enjoy what I played.
The one thing that I'm looking forward to with that is in the game, in the Halo engine, they couldn't make rain happen, so Marty O'Donnell talks about it in some of the like Halo documentaries and stuff that they made this ground sound wet and they made the ground like reflective and stuff, and so it looks like it just rained. It always has this like it just rained here in the hub feeling, and there are moments where it kind of sounds like it might be raining somewhere in the city, but I'm kind of hoping. Like one of the things that they did with Halo 3 when they did the 1080p 60 frames treatment for the collection was they added they just touched up some of the lighting, and I think that's kind of in the same realm of maybe throwing in some weather effects. It'd be really cool if they tossed in just some light rain into this game. I think it'd make a world of difference.
That would be really cool, yeah.
So
that's
it.
Alex, what you been playing?
Okay. So I played some really weird shit this week. So kind of continued on with some more Dragon Ball Z Universe. That's a pretty fun game, and it's got some legs to it.
Is that the newest one that's just dropped?
Yeah. I think I talked about it a little bit last week on the show, but it's pretty cool, and it's got some legs. As in, I mean, there's a little bit of a grind as you level up. You get to a point where certain missions you kind of hit a wall, and it seems to be universal, where you kind of hit a wall, and then you have to kind of grind some levels inside missions to get where you need to be. But it's not too grindy to where it's a big turnoff, So I played a little bit of that. I played some, Mario Kart drinking party situation, which was always fun. I got to play Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. I picked that up for my kids recently because they've got really into Kirby with the 3DS title, the Triple Deluxe. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse is really cool, but I think, and a lot of people have touched on this who have reviewed it, if you're, it's a beautiful game. There's a lot of like kind of claymation and stuff, claymation aesthetic to it. The only problem is that most of the um, most of the time you're playing, especially if you're playing alone or if you're playing as the first player, you have to look at the gamepad. So you're not really able to take in a lot of the gorgeous backdrops and stuff because you have to draw the lines in order to progress through the levels and stuff. Um, but it's a solid game. It's fun to play. Um, and I think I would say, I mean, I played a whole bunch of weird stuff. I kept, a lot of handheld stuff. I upgraded my phone. I have an iPhone 6 Plus now, so I've been playing more iOS games. So I played Goat Simulator for the iOS, which was pretty. It's a decent little port there. It runs pretty well.
Isn't that coming to the Xbox One soon? I keep
Yes,
seeing things.
yeah, that was
about Goat
announced this week.
Simulator.
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming to the Xbox One. Um, I played this really cool game. It's really weird though. It's called Dreeps. I'm not sure if I've talked about it on the show or not, but it's
Yeah, you
almost
mentioned it, but
it's to the point
what
that
is
it's like
that?
almost not a game. So Dreeps is without going into too much detail, you play as a little robot boy, or you watch a little robot boy. He walks through
Weird.
yeah, he walks through like a level, right? And what you do is whenever you set an alarm, the boy, he goes back to his kind of like Dr. Light-esque doctor person and lays down on a table and goes to sleep. And in the morning or whenever your alarm goes off, he's fully recharged and the game plays itself. The guy just walks through these beautifully animated pixel art levels and gets into like fights with robot squids and shit like that and levels
Sure.
up and gains experience. But you don't interact with this game at all. The only way you interact with it is by setting alarms for the kid to rest. So it's almost like an updated virtual pet like a Tamagotchi or a Digimon or something.
You
But
would play that.
yeah, it's so weird. Well, I heard about it on Giant Bomb. One of the guys came in from Japan.
That's where I heard
um,
about it. Okay.
From
yeah.
what is it? From Studio 88 or something like that. But anyway, they were talking
8-4,
about it, and I was
8-4.
driving. 8-4. That's what it is. So I played that, and I also played this weird. Lastly, I played this weird ass Steam game called How Do You Do It? And I'm just gonna read the synopsis and let you guys comment if you'd like. How Do You Do It? Puts players in the role of an 11-year-old girl whose mother has just stepped out for an errand. The girl immediately grabs her dolls and furtively attempts to figure out how sex works using these plastic surrogates. It is fucking incredible.
That
It's
sounds
like there's no
fantastic.
replay value. I mean, you basically play one or two times. Your mom goes out for errands. You control the characters with you get two dolls, and you just basically orient them in different ways and smash them together and maybe make a sex. And there's no really like there's no like final level or anything to it. There's no end to it unless your mother comes home. When your mother comes home, if you have the dolls naked and next to each other, she kind of gives you a disappointing look, and that's it. I want to say this was a game jam game that was put together like in 24 hours or something, and for I don't know who, but one of the requirements I think was getting it on Steam, and it happened to pop up somewhere. I think someone reviewed it or curated it or something. It popped up, and I said, "Oh, this is just fucking weird enough for me to try at 2 a.m."
What's the art style? What's the art style of that? I'm having trouble like even picturing what the fuck that would look like. You know
So
what I mean?
it's hand drawn pixel graphics, so not pixel art as in like beautifully, each pixel individually placed with meaning. It's more like someone drew it in MS Paint. Um, yeah, it's
Yes.
great. It's great. It will like solidly occupy about 10 minutes of your life, and that's really all it's worth. But that 10 minutes is wonderful.
Cool.
Sorry,
Yeah,
hey,
that's about
anybody watching this live on Twitch, I'm sorry. my XSplit is just falling apart. I can't see in
God.
real time the preview. Like I don't get the real time preview at all. So I'm watching on Twitch what my
Which
screen
is
looks
delayed,
like,
though,
and I'm just
dude.
like, all right, maybe if I click this and move it here, like I have no fucking clue what's going
I'm
on.
seeing it right now, and right now you have like this tiny little combat logo in the upper right hand screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
son of a
Twitch
bitch! All right, hold on.
Drew's cam on Skype is like not working for me.
Oh
It's just
my god.
this is
Oh,
amazing.
you know what?
Uh,
Maybe that's why my shit's all fucking delayed.
Yeah,
Let me
Drew's
turn that shit off.
frozen in my Twitch. Okay, well while you guys figure that out,
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah,
you know
go
what
on.
I've been playing.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, what
What's
are
up?
you
What
doing,
else
Roy?
is up?
I just finished Ori and the Blind Forest the other day, and holy shit, what a fucking great game. I've said this in the Facebook groups and all that, but if you're not following us there, I'll say it to you now. If you're into exploratory 2D platforming games that challenge you, this is a must play. One of the best games I've played so far. I know we're early in the year, but hands down one of the best games so far of 2015. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's gorgeous. Every facet of that game is just tight. It looks wonderful. The gameplay can be described as just buttery smooth. It's so fucking
Yeah,
responsive.
I've heard
Like
a
as
lot of
That was my
a
big
lot of
question
Super
was
Meat
how
Boy
responsive.
it's
references have been
so
thrown out there.
responsive, as challenging as the game gets with its platforming later on. It never really gets frustrating. I did get a slightly frustrated at the end, but there was just a frame rate issue because of this. But it never truly gets frustrating. You die over and over again, but the gameplay is so fucking good. It truly is. Like I hate using the term perfect when describing video games, but when
Yeah,
I
that's
finished
usually not a good
Ori,
term.
it's not. But when I finish, I mean, no game is perfect, and Ori's not perfect. But when I finished the game, I was just thinking, I don't. This is as close as you get to platforming perfection. It was just an incredible game. Super happy with it. Go play it if you haven't. You will not regret it. And I think that's it for
Nice.
games, really, for myself. I
Um,
skipped Retro Thursday because I had to keep playing more Ori. Oh, and
I'm
I've just booted up Mario Party 10, but I don't have much to say about that just
I'm
yet.
probably not gonna play Ori and the Blind Forest. Just gotta throw
Oh,
that
you're
out there.
missing out.
I'll
You're
be
missing
playing
out.
it
It's not my type of
tomorrow.
game. Also,
That's
I
fair
just
enough.
have no fucking clue when I would do that. So I'm enjoying hearing about it as much as possible from people, and I need to watch some streams and some gameplay so that I, instead of just hearing secondhand accounts and like seeing clips from trailers and stuff, I need to actually have a better understanding of what the fuck this game is.
Yeah. It's just like it just imagine too. I mean, it's got that Metroidvania vibe to it where it's a completely open map with no load screens. You just keep finding new areas. It's all connected together. As you
Okay.
upgrade and learn new moves, you can then get to areas that you could see that you couldn't access beforehand because you couldn't wall climb or double jump or even triple jump. And everything works wonderfully together. Like when I got I think it was about my fifth upgrade. I think anyway, I got this. I got like the hanging cloth thing that I could like float down, very reminiscent of Wind Waker Zelda with the leaf, gliding.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there's lots of influences in on this game from all kinds of places. Like I see a little bit of Donkey Kong in there, a little bit of Mario. Great anime style. There's just a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, the game is incredible. I cannot say enough good things about it. Ori and the Blind Forest. Check it out.
Yeah, I managed to get it downloaded and installed the other night, and just a couple different things came up, but so I haven't actually booted it yet. But I lie. I booted it and didn't play it because I made sure all my settings were set and everything, and literally just the music and title screen, and menu system,
You just
everything
started
just seems
weeping.
so.
You just
It's
start
it's all
sobbing
like,
uncontrollably.
dude, that's the thing is it's all so like lovingly crafted. Like you can tell the people
Yeah.
who made this. Was it Moon Studios?
Yeah,
Moon,
Moon Game Studios.
moon.
Yeah, you can tell these people were just in love with the idea of this project because
Yeah.
it seems like it oozes just time and care, which is
Yeah,
Well, I
great.
mean,
and
they
it's
did.
crazy because
They,
it's like five people or something,
and
and
they're all
they
over
all
the world. Like
yeah, they're not in
they
the
went
same
to a
office.
lot of trouble to make this fucking game.
But what's
Pretty
incredible
cool.
about it is that it's as Alex says, it's incredibly like polished too. Like every little corner of that game, it doesn't matter where you look, whether it be in the menus or in one of the various gorgeous levels that you're traversing, it's fucking top notch. It's quality like on every single level. Incredible game. So hats off to Microsoft for picking up that IP. I don't know what they'll do for future sequels, but they own Ori IP, so they can do whatever they want with it. But I really would like to see
I'll have to
them
catch
partner up with
some.
these guys again and
I'll
create
have to catch some of
another
that
game.
Rory and the Blind Forest.
Oh ho.
You didn't say the magic word.
Oh shit.
Um,
Oh god, Flash just crashed on me, but I think that's just my thing. That's
no,
okay.
you're good. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah. Yep.
I forgot to mention at the beginning of the stream too. We're going to talk some news with some delays and announcements, but the three of us are actually going to just quickly maybe do a 1 minute pitch as well, share ideas that we may have had for a video game or something with
True
you guys.
story.
So we're definitely going to do that. Should we
Yeah.
jump into some news though?
Let's do it. I want to
We
jump
can
all
do
the
that.
way in the
Okay,
news.
let's start off with an oldie because last week we'll just quickly cover this, but last week was GDC and we totally skipped it because it was the 1 year anniversary of Rated M and there was a lot of stuff that came out of GDC. But
Faux show.
I just cherry picked one little thing that I thought was interesting, and if you guys have anything else to add, we can totally look at that. But
Yeah.
Rock Band 4, it's coming
Oh,
back.
just one little thing. Just Rock Band
Yes.
4, no big deal.
Yeah, just no big deal. Rock Band 4 from
All right, good show, guys. See you next week.
Yeah,
Bye.
later. Good night, everybody. Harmonix coming back. They're reviving the music genre. It could be big news. I'm a little surprised, but I guess what I'm surprised about is that I didn't think I would be excited.
Me
Like
either.
when
Yeah.
Rock Band, or I should say when Guitar Hero first came out, I was like, that's kind of weird. You're playing with plastic instruments. But then a roommate moved in and he had it, and he's like, you got to play fucking Guitar Hero. And I instantly was like, yeah, fucking loved it. Was shredding next to him, and then Rock Band finally came out.
Yeah, I
and
can
now
totally
it's
see
the
you
experience.
being like super into Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff.
Big time. And when Rock
Yeah.
Band hit and had the drums, that was it. I was
Especially
in
with like
heaven.
how often you and your friends like hang out and how like all of your friends, and this is just me like Facebook stalking or something, but like all the like crazy
You
parties
creep.
and theme parties and stuff that you guys do, I could totally see you guys having like different themed Rock Band nights, like we're gonna play these bands tonight and stuff like
Well, that's
that.
the thing. We didn't do themed Rock Band nights, but we definitely had like, it wasn't just myself and my friends. I think, all over fucking Canada, America, the world, wherever you could find
They all
Rock
came to
Band.
your house.
Like everybody came to my house. Yeah. No, it was one of those games though. Like it was a small window, but there was that time where people were literally like, "Hey guys, I'm having a Rock Band party," and
Yeah.
friends that didn't play video games weren't like, "What the fuck? Like I'm not coming over to your house to play games and
Yeah,
stuff. Like let's go and party."
Ryan
It was
McCaffrey is
legitimately
not
like,
the only person who likes Rock Band.
exactly. So people would come over, and that's what it would be. Instead of it being a normal house party, now it was like a house party, but everybody sat around. We moved all the furniture to the edges of the living room for like the people that weren't playing at the time, and we would just fucking get drunk and rock out. And then overnight, it was gone.
Yeah.
It just died, fell
Well,
off the face of the earth, basically.
That's not
I
quite
remember
accurate. I
inviting-
mean, it did
No,
happen
but-
very quickly, but it was for a very fucking good reason. Like, that shit got out of control so fast.
It did as far
Guitar
as like
Hero World
Activision and
Tour
Guitar
and,
Hero
like,
pumping shit out.
yeah.
I thought Harmonix with Rock Band were pretty good because they just kept pumping the songs out,
No,
right?
I
Once
agree.
Rock Band 2
Yeah,
hit, and they
totally.
did the Beatles, but the Beatles thing was really fucking cool.
Yeah, it was really
Um,
well done, too. Yeah.
It was, yeah. It wasn't just like a coat of paint on it.
Right.
That said, yeah, I mean, when it was over though.
Yeah.
I eventually just when I moved this last time just threw out fucking everything because I was like, it's done. I haven't played this in years. My drum pedal's broken. Some of these guitars are wonky now, and nobody would come over for the parties, like the Rock Band party that is anymore. It was like, guys, we're gonna have a Rock Band
Yeah.
party, and people are like, I don't know. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I saw the announcement of Rock Band 4, and I was like, you know what? It's fucking time.
I'd agree.
Now is the time.
I'd agree.
I'm ready.
He
I've
strapped
got
on
the-
his fingerless gloves.
I'm ready to go. I've got the space in my living room. I can put the new drum kit in. Speaking of that, though, there's no word of whether or not if you still got your instruments, you're going to be able to use your old
Right.
instruments.
They
Because
want
the new
they
hardware.
want that. They hope that happens, but they gotta
Well,
talk to the console manufacturers.
Exactly. Harmonix is trying to work with Microsoft and Sony and those guys to see what they can do. But it is a system functionality thing. I think really like the old accessories just don't work with this stuff. Even the
Yeah.
wireless,
It's just different standards. Yeah.
exactly. They've got different codecs or whatever the fuck is going on. It's above my head a little bit.
It's
Some of you
different
listening will
internets.
know what's up.
The
Yeah.
internets
They
are
have
different.
Wi-Fi's.
So what do you guys think about this news though? Rock Band 4. I know everybody that's listening will be thinking, hey, it's 10 days ago, but this is the first time we've had a chance to chat about it. So are you
Yeah,
excited about
Alex,
this
how
news?
you feel
What do
about that,
think?
dude?
So I actually
that
play
band with those
guitar,
little kids.
and like a bunch of different instruments. But the cool thing is that like when I was a teenager and I played more and had more time to play real instruments, I still loved Rock Band. I'll be honest. This is a quick non sequitur there. I loved DJ Hero. That game, which
Yeah,
That
Yes.
shit was hard as fuck.
see, yeah, I loved it. I was amazing at that game. That's probably why I liked it so much. But
Yeah.
no, I love that game. That was great. Rock Band was fun. Like when Rock Band came out with, the band's worth of instruments, that was like just a game changer. That actually got my buddy, one of my former bandmates, that's what made him learn to play the guitar. Because I want to say, I forget did one of the games have Raining Blood in it? Slayer's Raining
Yeah.
Blood?
Yeah.
Okay, because it was that, and he was like, why am I playing this on a plastic guitar? I can learn a real guitar, which was great because then I had like another guy who I'd known forever to be in my band, and it was a good time. But so I have a lot of good memories associated with the series, and while it did, like you said, it got out of control really quick. It blew up really fast, and it was a nice flash in the pan and went away. I did not. I'm totally over it. I did not think I was going to be excited, but like I heard the news, I saw the headline, and was like, oh, that's happening. And then I heard one or two people talk about it on different podcasts last week, and I was like, I could do this. And then I thought, oh shit, I have kids. Like I have a whole family. I have a whole band in my house all the time. Like we could partridge family this bitch all week long. So
and you will. I guarantee we'll be seeing some of those videos.
Yes, most certainly. So I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I'd love to see another DJ Hero. I think, especially with how the EDM scene and the electronic music scene has blown up even more over the past couple of years, that could be an amazing title with some really great tracks because the mixes in that game were incredible. But we'll take it one step at a time and see where it goes. As for Rock Band 4, that'll be a day one for me. Kids will love it.
I'm just noticing now too that the sites that had the news about the announcement have updated with images and stuff. I actually hadn't seen the new guitars and the new drum sets, but they're
drop that in Skype chat or something. Or
they're right there. They're right there. I'll drop the article in there. Sorry guys that are listening, but look it up. They look pretty.
Chopping in the
They look pretty fucking cool. They look pretty cool.
I just want to see Def Jam 5 for New York too.
Dude, don't even tempt me. I fucking love that series. I love that series so much.
I know, right? What, Icon sucks.
We're not get out of here with Def Jam.
All right,
anyways, to wrap up the Rock Band thing, I thought there was a couple pieces, a couple, no pun intended. I thought there was a couple interesting things in the announcement about Rock Band 4 coming from Harmonix. And Harmonix, god damn, man.
You're right. Yep.
Good lord, I know. I was getting confused because I fucked that up the other day on a different podcast. Yeah. They said they mentioned that every time you would watch people playing Rock Band, it was always the same thing in a sense that people were having fun, but they were focused intently on just their one stream of notes coming down, and there wasn't any real like band interaction for the most part until after the song was done. And they said they're looking into ways to really sort of reshape what this playing with your friends with plastic instruments is going to be, and somehow incorporate like I don't know what they're going to do, like maybe a high five the guy next to you because it has Connect integration and it's watching what you guys are doing and it's rating you higher if you're like headbanging and doing weird shit. But they're trying to apparently mix it up. They're going to reveal it at E3, but they're going to try and change that up so that you're interacting with your bandmates a lot more and not just standing there.
Okay.
They want to give you a reason to look up every now and again.
Yeah.
You dropped out.
Can you not hear us
for a second? Yeah, but you're good. You're back.
Oh, we're good. Good.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of information about Rock Band 4. Look it up.
Let's check that out.
So, something that I thought was kind of a big deal. I don't know if this is the biggest deal of the news that came out, but that big important PS4 game that everybody's looking forward to. No, not Bloodborne.
No.
Uncharted 4.
What are you talking about?
It's kind of important. You've heard of it. So that's not happening. That's happening next year. It's
been canceled.
Don't say it's not happening. God damn.
Look at that. You want to? Okay, Drew, take over.
I'm just saying.
Drew's being the BuzzFeed of fucking news headlines here. He's like, oh yeah, so Uncharted
4 never happening
this year.
Uncharted 4 was going to get into our main chat about delayed games and the holiday lineup and what was going on, but we'll move into it right now. Uncharted 4.
I thought you wanted the game pitches to be that. Sorry, man. I was just
I think the game pitches will be a short thing, but it's all good. We'll just roll. But
it got pushed, and he got pushed to next year. And if you want to kind of link these two pieces of news together, it's up to you. It got pushed to next year, which I'm sure will be the year that we see Titanfall 2 come out on the PS4. So the PS4 looks really good in 2016, but I don't know about this year. Like between The Order and Drive Club still having whatever issues it's having, and then Bloodborne looks great, but for like the 80,000 or 600,000 people that buy it, but not like the millions of people that want to buy Uncharted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not one of those as good as Bloodborne looks and how awesome it's most likely going to be.
It's like
not
Monster
one of those,
Hunter, right? Like it's a successful franchise, but not on the level of like Tomb Raider or Uncharted or anything else that pays
As
homage
far
to
as
Indiana Jones.
stateside goes, for sure. Yeah, I don't know much about Monster Hunter. I feel like that is like
It's
a game
huge
that
in
might move
Japan,
units to
sure.
Japan. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, Sony coming up anyway. They've got Until Dawn. They've got
that
Drawn to
looks
Death.
terrible.
They've got
Drawn to Death
they've got
has
a few other
potential.
games. Yeah, they've got a few other games that have potential for sure, but they're missing that like that big billboard marquee, gotta get out there thing. You look at
Yeah.
what Microsoft's coming later this year. We've got Forza 6,
Yep.
we've got Rise of the Tomb Raider,
Yep.
Halo 5, possibly Battletoads, whatever that is. And now there's rumors of 2K Sports and Microsoft hooking up for a first-party sports game
Oh,
that
don't forget the 4v1 Fable. People will
we got
like that.
Fable
People
dropping a
will,
little bit
Fable
sooner too,
Legends.
families
and
will pick that up.
They just got a lot going on, especially pushing into that holiday season. Do you
Yeah.
guys see Sony like? It's not in Sony. It's not. Sony doesn't usually show something that they have ready in a few months. You know, like when Microsoft announces something, a lot of the times, more often than not, that game is coming within the year, kind of deal. Whereas Sony tend to announce things pretty early, and all of their stuff has been announced. And or is about to release or has been delayed a la Uncharted. So it's kind of like, are we going to expect to see Sony announce something from, Sony Bend and Sony Santa Monica and all these guys, and they're going to have it ready for the holiday?
For this year, no.
What do you think Sony's gonna,
I
what do you
don't
think they're
think.
going to do?
I think
I mean,
Sony.
for the record, Sony's moving fucking units right now,
Right.
without
Yeah.
the big marquee title. But this could be a chance for Microsoft to close the gap
And
a little bit.
so they have Morpheus slated for next year, their
Mhm.
VR headset.
Yes.
They have Uncharted coming next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Gran Turismo came next year. Final Fantasy 15 could have like a beta next year, maybe, or maybe it actually comes out next year. I could see Kingdom
There's some
Hearts coming out next year.
There's definitely a
And
Final Fantasy 15 demo hitting very soon.
yeah,
Don't you get a demo with Type Zero or whatever the hell
yes,
that is?
which is next week. Yeah,
Damn,
or
okay.
this like upcoming, like in the next couple days. So I mean, like they have a lot going for them for 2016. I just feel like if they had stuff going for them for this year, we'd know about it. We knew about Infamous. We knew about Killzone. We saw lots of Killzone before it came out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it that those were launch window titles because Infamous didn't come out at launch, but like, you're right that they do announce things way before they come out, but they also talk about things when they are going to, like, right before they come out, and then that doesn't really bode well for this year. Like, I can't think of anything that, other than the Media Molecule thing that they were working on that they debuted when they first showed off the PS4. Like maybe
The
that
weird sculpting thing, is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
maybe that
I don't know if
comes,
that's ever. I don't know
yeah.
if that's ever going to be anything. I feel like that
Yeah,
was
who
something that
knows?
might have been
Probably a
supposed to
tech
be for
demo.
the iToy or something around launch, and it didn't work out. Or the PS camera. They don't call it the iToy anymore.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but
What's
yeah,
it?
they're gonna. I think
Tearaway is supposed
Ratchet,
to come to the PS4, right?
Ratchet and Clank.
That'll probably happen this year.
I think Insomniac's dropping a new Ratchet and Clank this
Yeah,
year.
because there's a
as well.
movie coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that
But
Jack
yeah,
and
it's just
Daxter?
like,
I mix all those up. Who knows?
oh, you know what? It's no,
Jack
it's a
and
Ratchet and
Daxter.
Clank movie. No, it's a Ratchet and Clank
Okay,
movie.
all right. Who knows?
That'd be weird for a Jack and Daxter movie to be coming out. Even,
Oh yeah,
even
that's
more
true.
so than a Ratchet
Those guys are working
movie.
on Uncharted. It's unless a follow up to Beyond Two Souls just comes out of fucking nowhere this year. I don't mean a sequel, but I just mean like more stuff from those guys. I have no fucking clue what the hell Sony could pop out this year, like reasonably, because I feel like we should have heard about it by now. Like we should have rumors or inklings, and I say that knowing full well that this is the season. March is the season when you start getting leaks and rumors. Remember the leaks and rumors? Yep. It was one of the first Rated M for podcast episodes ever. We went over the rumors of what's going to be at E3, and a lot of them were pretty spot on. So I feel like we should have those soon. Like I feel like we should be hearing about this stuff, and there's nothing.
Well,
out there.
we did a little bit. You know, well-known Shinobi from Twitter, whatever
Shinobi
his name is,
2089 or
Shinobi,
whatever.
Yeah,
yeah,
Shinobi
whatever.
X or
Yeah.
whatever.
He was on Reddit a week or two ago, dropping his predictions, for the all the conferences, and when I saw
Anything good in there?
no, that's what surprised me when I saw the title link of the article that somebody was sharing at the forum, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, yeah, there's gonna be some fucking juicy shit from Shinobi." And
Right?
I go
Yeah.
in there, and I was like, "Damn, this is actually really safe.
Yeah.
These are
Yeah.
very safe bets across like all platforms." And I was like,
Crackdown
"Huh."
3 and like
No, I don't think
whatever.
Crackdown was even part of it. It was, but like Battletoads, it was just everything that you
Sure.
would kind of expect, and it's already rumored to be there.
Do you think we're
Um,
gonna see God of War announced this year? Definitely not gonna
I
come out this year. I
Yeah,
promise you that.
I do think we'll see something about God of War though. But yeah, I don't see it coming this year. It
Um,
seems crazy to me to think that Sony's going to show something at E3 as
no.
far as big AAA, like this is going to move units type thing. Again though, there's 20.2 million fucking units sold as of last week or
That's what I
something.
was about
Like
to say. Like that's
they don't need the title, but what this could mean, like I was saying, and like is it going to close the gap a little bit? I know
I
Microsoft
yeah.
is not going
I
to catch
think
up over the holiday, but can they maybe close up by 4 million or something? I don't know. Can they get that kind of make that kind of ground up?
what I was gonna say, like I think the reason we don't see a lot from Sony this year and is for two things. One is kind of what I was pointing at, the fact that next year looks like a huge year for Sony. And they're making it more so by putting Uncharted in the year. And then on top of that, I think they're still kind of just enjoying their success. And I'm sure they're toiling away in the background, but they're enjoying their success instead of looking for short term, aggressive, quick turnaround successes. Like, I think they're building for the long haul now that they've already won the sprint. And that's smart. You don't want to burn yourself out at the beginning of the generation. You don't want to just pop all that stuff out there, blow all your resources, and not be geared for a long-term fight.
You know, it's not a constant in this business, but there is that everlasting, it's always kind of there, and sometimes it's more prominent than others. But there is that thing where sometimes when people or companies or teams are working their hardest, you seem to not hear from them at all.
Yeah, look at
So just
Rockstar.
because yeah, I mean, just because you don't hear anything going on doesn't mean that there's not something going on.
Oh, of
It's not
course.
it's not like the PS4 is doomed. There's no games,
No,
but
no,
I mean,
no. But it
you
does
know,
have
it
no
is
games.
something that I think there are people who think that, and
Sure.
so if any of you people are listening, just keep that in mind because
Yeah,
sometimes you just don't want to show all your cards.
Oh
and
yeah, there's no
I'm not
doubt. Like
saying they're
Sony's got
doomed,
some of the best.
right?
No, they've got some of the best first-party studios in the world. Their
Yeah.
games, at the end of the day, don't really sell quite the way that Microsoft exclusives do, and I don't know if that's because Sony just doesn't market nearly as well as
Except for Gran
Microsoft
Turismo.
does. Yeah, Gran Turismo is their one crazy ass thing, but in general, their exclusives don't sell nearly as well as Microsoft's. But they've got a great variety of great
Yeah.
games there. But I mean, we can't sit back and think that they don't have stuff working on. But the question is, like, are they going to have anything for this year? Something big.
No, I don't think so. I
I
have
don't
a
see it.
strong feeling that they don't. And you know why I know that? Because they sold how many units and what did they have last year at holiday? Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Fucking jack shit. And it was a perfect time for Microsoft to swoop in. And they kind of stumble steps because even though Forza Horizons 2 was great, and Sunset Overdrive was great, like Halo really kind of fell on its own dick as far as the public perception of how well, that box worked. And now they get to kind of turn back around and say, hey, Halo is fixed and there's all that going on right now. But at holiday last year, they just didn't do anything, and Microsoft did make headway. They sold a lot of they were the top
They did.
selling for like this November, December or whatever. But even then, like that was a drop in the bucket compared to this ridiculous lead that the PS4 has. So I think that maybe from a business perspective, and I mean just from a business perspective, like I'm sure the developers and all the people who are working on games really want to make these games and put them out. But big Sony is probably giving these guys a little more room to perfect their games and add that extra level of polish and make it so that we don't get a repeat of the past holiday season where we get games that aren't really quite on the level of where they should be. Because they have such a lead, they can afford that time. They basically bought themselves time with this commanding lead so that they can put out that much higher quality of product. So I wonder, I think that's what they're counting on. But because of that, no, I don't think we got shit coming from Sony this year. And I say
what
that
do you
now
think of,
just because I haven't seen what the fuck is going to happen at E3. And maybe I'm going to feel
of
totally
course,
different in a
yeah,
couple months.
everything could change at E3. But what do you think about just? I mean, can we trust that we're going to see Tomb Raider and stuff now too? I mean, Microsoft really wanted to have
Yes.
Tomb Raider out to compete
Right.
with Uncharted. Now
Right.
Uncharted's been pushed. There's no rush for that holiday thing. They've got Halo. They've got a bunch of other games. Are they still going to push for that? I don't know. It's like I was
This is when you
talking
go
with
for
a
the
buddy the other
jugular.
day, and it's like we can't trust release dates
Well,
anymore.
no, I feel like that's two separate
Look at this.
things.
Look at this. It is a little bit, but like look at the list of like Uncharted is just a continuing trend in games being announced and then being delayed. Like why not just do not tell us the game is coming in 2015 until you know you can hit the date, right? Like just looking at a
Well,
list right now, we had Arkham Knight announced and then like 2 weeks later saying, "Nope, actually that's coming next year." Witcher 3 got delayed 3 times. Evolve has been delayed. The Order was delayed a few times.
I think
Hardline
we're
was delayed.
I I think we're drawing lines where they don't exist. Honestly, these are all very unique, different situations. Why was Battlefield delayed? Well, first of all, if you released a video game about cops shooting people in the streets right after Ferguson, probably would not go over very well. 6 months later,
Hmm.
that works out for you. Also, what's the problem with Battlefield? Well, DICE has been working on Battlefield 4 since the moment it launched, so it could afford, like, they needed that. They needed that pushback. Also, it's interesting to have a first person shooter, like a AAA first person shooter, to come out in March. Like, that's just weird. And I think people are going to eat it up. But that's a totally different situation than The Witcher. The Witcher got pushed back because they can afford to, because they're a fucking indie studio, sort of. And they say, CD Projekt Red says, hey, we release the game when we think it's perfect. And they even
Right.
said when they pushed it back out of the holiday season, they said, we don't want to be the next broken game. Like, we're going to let somebody else do that.
Of course. I guess the thing is just like why even say then? Like why
Because
even
that's what
tell
they were
people it's
projecting.
coming?
I mean, they
Tell
thought
people
it was
it's
going to be
coming.
ready.
Tell people it's coming soon and such. I mean, they announced that game. We saw that game way before fall of
Yeah, and it looked
2014.
amazing.
It did,
Yeah,
but I mean,
people
it's
were
just
playing it. It
like
looked great.
why tell it? I don't know. It's just it's starting to really bug me, man.
Why
I'd
tell
rather
people?
they
Because you
can.
want people excited. So the other thing is,
Well, you can get people excited, right?
no,
You can announce the game.
like,
You
if
can
I
say
say
coming
buy a
soon.
PS4 and you say why, and I say because, and you say, what do you mean because? And I say, because eventually we're going to have Uncharted. Eventually we're going to have a God of War game.
Yeah, but when
Someday
you
Gran
be all
Turismo
right,
is going to
when
come to the console.
there's the flip side to that though, where it's like, hey, you should buy a PS4. Why? Well, Arkham Knight was just announced and it's coming out in October, and they're like, okay, I don't really have the cash, but I'm gonna make it work because I want to get that for launch. And you
See,
scramble, you
that's the
figure it
thing,
out,
though.
you make
You want
other
people to be. You
sacrifices,
want
and
people.
then the game doesn't come out.
All right, all right. You're asking why marketing works the way it does in a industry that marketing has worked this way for like 2 decades now. The way that it works now.
I guess what I'm saying is that we need to they need to figure out something else a little bit where they don't have to fucking announce that a game is coming at a certain time and never hit that fucking date.
But see, here's the thing. Like, when you
Just
say
say it's coming
they,
soon.
I mean, this is a common thing that I think everybody in the gaming industry, especially in like the journalism and the reporting side of things, we're all scratching our heads like, man, this all seems like a trend, but I don't really feel like it all is, because we're talking about very separate things. Like, look at Evolve. Evolve got pushed because it needed it, right? I think The Witcher got pushed because it didn't want to be associated with a fall launch that was less than stellar, far less than stellar. And you look at something like Drive Club. Like, Drive Club was supposed to be a launch title, wasn't it? It got pushed almost
yeah,
a
I think
year,
it
and it
was.
was still fucking broken. So, I mean,
Which
you're
they
seeing,
probably knew when they announced
but
that
see,
it was going to
that's
be a launch
conjecture.
title
You're
too.
saying
Though.
they
Like it
probably knew
is,
it.
it
I don't
is.
think I don't think the guys at let's
Like
see.
you don't think the guys at Rocksteady, when they're doing Arkham Knight, when they announced that it was coming in October, and then 2 weeks later said no,
So the
it's
two
coming
weeks
next
later
year.
one,
You don't
I
think
think
they
that was a
realized
business
that?
move.
Like
I think that was a Warner Brothers thing, not a Rocksteady thing. I think Warner Brothers was like, we need to announce this right now so that we can hit like X number, and that's a totally separate issue than someone saying, hey, I think, like, look at Cyberpunk 2077. Why the fuck did they announce that game?
But they
Why?
didn't
Yeah,
say.
good
But they didn't
question.
say it was coming at a certain date,
They
though, did
didn't,
they?
but why? Like, I mean,
That's the thing.
what?
I have
Like,
no problem with them announcing games like really early. Just don't tell me that it's coming at a certain point. Say it's coming soon. We're working on this, and then if you want to keep showing stuff and getting the hype going, for sure. Fucking like I want them to get us hyped up. They can do everything that they're doing exactly as they have for years, except say it's coming on this
I think a
date.
lot
Like
of these projects
say it's
though
coming soon, and
are.
then when you're close enough that you can guarantee it's gonna make its date, then you announce the date.
I think a lot of the projects, a lot of the reasons that of the question that you're asking right now, like why are we hearing about these games when we don't know for sure that they're going to be ready? Specifically, this
Well, no.
window,
No.
this
Hearing about the games is good. I want to hear about the games
this
as early as possible. I
this
don't want
window
them
though
telling me a
is
year and a half
is
about that they're going to give me a window and then keep having those dates and then delaying and delaying, delaying. Do not give me a date. Like, do not give me that window until you know you can hit it.
no,
Don't
but
tell me
listen,
it's coming out
this
holiday of
window is to
2015.
sell next gen consoles. That was why all this stuff was set up the way it is. It's to sell next gen consoles. We didn't need to see Metal Gear Solid 2 years ago. We could have fucking seen it this year. Like it didn't need to be that way, but they're
Yeah, but that's the thing.
having
That's exactly what I'm saying, though.
a
Announcing.
carrot to dangle out in front of people makes you sell 20 million fucking
But when
PS4s with nothing to play on it.
exactly, but when they announced that game for the first time, they didn't say it was coming at a specific date. They just revealed the game, and that got people going, and that will get people buying the machines. I'm agreeing with you in a sense. I just don't agree that they have to say it's coming this month of this year,
But see,
a
then
year out from
you say
launch.
that,
Like,
but then we're going to turn around and complain that we get all these trailers at E3 this year with no dates attached to them. Like it's one or the other. And I would rather have dates that get me excited and then those dates slip, and that slip makes me think, okay, they're working really hard.
maybe.
And sometimes that's not actually the case. Sometimes the slip is for different reasons. This Uncharted news was not surprising to a lot of people because of the turmoil that people had already heard about Uncharted 4. And I don't mean the
Totally.
game itself is having any problems. It looks fine. But the people working on it have gone through some leadership changes. There's been some rewrites. There's been some actual recasting news that like always happens, but we actually got reported on and stuff. Amy Hennig left to go work on Star Wars. Like a lot of shit has happened in this game, so it makes sense that it got pushed. But
I'm just imagining a world where they can find a way to hype the game as they always have without giving us a fucking window. That's
well,
all,
you
man.
keep
All they have to
imagining.
well, it just then we won't have this constant thing where it's like your favorite game's getting hyped for and then it's disappointment. And now it's like
Yeah,
at a certain point I lose my hype. Like if they give me a date and they don't hit that date twice, maybe three times, I'm totally lost
yeah,
interest.
and I'm just
Like
saying, like, I don't think
I've moved on.
I don't think there's one thread or one reason as to why it is though. I think
Oh
there
no,
is
no.
I think there's a search for that though. I think a lot of people, a lot of gamers are trying to figure out like what the fuck, what is the deal here with these new games? And
Announce your game
it's
early,
not the
hype
same
it up,
thing.
show me shit. Just don't tell me a date until you know you can hit the date. That's all I'm saying. But
See,
that's okay. It's okay to feel differently about that.
It's caused me to become like a lot of other things in this industry, which I'm very passionate about and love to death, but I'm also jaded in a lot of ways. So when it comes to a game comes out and I see a trailer and they say and it'll be coming fucking fall 2 years from now, like I don't care about that. I don't even pay attention to it. I say, oh, that's nice, and I just keep on going. And staying on the bleeding edge of release dates and speculative news and stuff is great for some people, and it's what a lot of people are after. But for me personally, I don't mind that stuff at all. I don't pay it any attention. And I may be a minority, or I may be actually representative of the gaming majority outside of the enthusiasts. In that I hear about a game and I say, "Oh, that's great," but you run into a problem where if you announce a date, you have to kind of adhere to that or eat pie later, eat crow later. However, if you don't announce a date, every single Facebook update, every bit of news in an article on a website, everything else, your top comments are always going to be, "Hey man, what about a release date? How about you guys do your job and give us a release date?" So it's a double-edged sword there. And like you guys
Yeah.
said, I don't think there's any one thread that's causing it. It's surely a lot of different things. But I, like everything else, tend to just take the middle ground and say, go with the facts, go with what you know is there, go with what you can see, and anything that you're being promised that you haven't quite seen yet, like a release date, just wait to see it. Just wait until you're 2 weeks out from a release date. You're 2 weeks out, get hype. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
There's
And
no
then
reason to pre-order a game 2 years ahead of time.
The
That's what
sad
I'm saying.
truth that when it comes to a lot of games, especially something like Metal Gear Solid, Konami's a big company. Konami needs help. They need people to think that they're going to do well and stuff. So when you talk about investor calls and stuff, like the Batman thing was very obvious. It was like super obvious an investor thing. They were like, "Hey, Batman's coming." All right, just kidding, it's pushed. Like they said that so that it could be like, okay, here's a feather in our cap that we can say out publicly, this is happening. But they can't do that unless they put a date out there for the public.
Sure.
And
Well, you do have to keep, like you said, you do have to keep that carrot out there.
yeah,
That is something that needs to happen. It's just, do you need to do that with a release date to the public? To your investors, it's totally different.
but see,
and
if you're a
and with
public
the
company,
Arkham thing,
if you're a
couldn't they have
public
given the
company, then
date
those investors, that's a public announcement. And so if you're gonna announce to your investors, then you might as well make a show of it and make a like public announcement of like, yeah, this is fucking Gears of War is coming, everybody. Here's a date.
So what benefit did like Warner Brothers and those guys have then to, again with the Arkham thing, like announce Arkham for that October date that I mean, again, I'm just guessing here and like talking out my ass a little bit, but I don't understand. I do not feel like that development team and the publishers themselves believed at any time that the game was going to come out in October and then 2 weeks later say whatever. Couldn't the same hype, the same pre-level bonus, all that should have been going on if they just said it's
See,
coming
it's
June? People pre-order, as Alex said, like saying you don't need to pre-order games 2 years in advance. Like some
no,
people
I'm not.
do
Yeah,
that
I'm not
shit.
talking
Like,
about pre-orders. I'm talking about the level of confidence that your investors have. So if you don't like, it's all timing. And I believe I've heard this about the Batman announcement, which is why I'm saying this. But let's just say in a scenario, you have X amount of time before like this quarter is about to run out or whatever, and then you can either announce after the quarter runs out and have a big boost of investment the next quarter, or you can announce right before the end of your quarter and see this huge uptick so that you end at this level, like X million dollars at the end of the quarter. And that's what people want. And so they announce, and then after the new quarter, they go, "Oh, just kidding. It's not gonna. It's gonna come a few months later than that." And then you'll see a drop, but it's that hitting that mark. It's why we see games get pushed back to like windows of like March or whatever, like just before the end of this quarter. It's giving them a deadline of no later than the end of this quarter because we need to sell these games so we can hit these fiscal responsibilities and numbers and stuff like that. But on the flip side, when I was talking about CD Projekt Red and The Witcher, they're not announcing because of fucking pressure or anything like that from any of their publishers or fiscal holdings or responsibilities and stuff. They do it because they want to set that deadline for themselves so that they can push themselves to get this shit done, because ultimately, yes, they want to have a really high quality product, but ultimately they want their game in their hands. They want people to play. And so you can only polish for so long before, I mean, you're never ever gonna run out of bugs. You'll forever find something wrong with this piece of software. There's no such thing as a perfect piece of software. But these guys pushed this stuff because they saw the wreck that was Holiday 2015, and they were like, well, fuck that. Like, we don't want to be part of this narrative now. If Holiday 2015 went off without a hitch, they probably could have seen that they were like, okay, this is all going so well. Let's come out and we'll patch it and we'll fix it, and people will be like, oh man, it had a rough launch, but it's a great game. But
well, that's the flip side to it, to announcing early and giving it a date, right? If you're like CD Projekt Red, then you can afford to say like, no, we're doing this when we want to do it, and we're going to delay. But other developers might be held to that fucking date now, and exactly
343 can't delay a game. Like, it can't.
So
Microsoft
there you go. So
it comes
out
so
broken,
hard
right?
on Halo. It relies so hard, and Uncharted got pushed because Naughty Dog is just a different setup. Like, Sony doesn't rely on one property. That's why there is no, like, if you think of Nintendo, you think of Mario. If you think of Xbox, you think of Master Chief. If you think of Sony, you think of like 6 different nameless, like faceless guys. You're like, oh, there's that God of War guy, and then the infamous dude, sort of, and somebody Drake. I think Drake, the rapper, is the voice of one of the guys in one of the games. I don't know. Like there
He
is
can
no
go 0 to
one.
100.
Yeah, he started from the bottom. Now he's here.
Exactly.
But like because of that, I think they can afford to move that stuff, and also as we said earlier, because of their sales. But I feel like we're talking in a circle. Why don't we move on?
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
I was thinking the same thing. So anyway, guys, we didn't really chat about the Titanfall 2 news. Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2 is
It's
coming
been
to
Yep.
PS4.
it's
That's a
coming.
thing.
Yes, to Uncharted.
Also,
There we go. Now
also
the title makes
Titanfall season pass is free, so go buy it. Go download it.
Yes, go download
Forever,
that.
by the way.
Is
Origin,
it forever? It
X-
still is,
yes.
but is it forever?
Yes. No, it is forever. It's forever on Origin, 360, and Xbox One. So all platforms that Titanfall is currently available
That's
on.
fucking
Yes, it is
rad.
forever.
That's
That's fucking
awesome.
cool.
That's one of the things that was brought up in the Titanfall 2 announcement. Vince,
Zappella.
there's a few there's a few quotes from those guys. One including from the CEO saying that if they could have done it over again and they had the option, they wouldn't have gone multi-platform for the original Titanfall. It would have been in their benefit to be on more platforms. Vince kind of like tiptoed around that and said, well, we kind of had to do it for the first one, with the business set up
They needed
and
that
stuff. The
help
game
to get off the ground.
exactly. But if they could do it the other way, they would have. But talking about Titanfall 2, he says they
TF2?
would like to. TF2, they would like to, which has no official title yet, Vince points out, but I'm sure we'll get that. But he does point out he'd like to change the DLC model to the game, and he likes what the guys are doing with Evolve as far as map distribution goes. So like he doesn't want to split the community up. With Evolve right now, all of the maps that you're going to get are going to be free. And like past games like Titanfall, and I experienced it a lot with Gears of War back in the day when I was a little bit slow upgrading my map packs. It was like, I can't play with these guys on these maps. Now the community gets split up. It's harder to find matches. So that's one of the things they're going to be looking at for Titanfall 2 as far as like DLC
I
models
like
go.
that he called that Evolve. Like he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
Evolve's doing great stuff with their the
DLC.
wording that he said. Yeah, DLC, and I was like, no, they're not. What?
No, there's actually like $120 of DLC. With that
yeah,
game
but he was
launched.
specifically talking about the maps
Which
and
though, to be
keeping the
fair, like
community together.
95% of that $100 worth of DLC or whatever is like cosmetic stuff.
aesthetic,
And,
yeah.
Sure.
yeah. So, and that's the thing, the meat of the game, the maps, that
Yeah.
is what everybody's gonna want
important,
is
yeah.
free. Like they're
Yeah.
giving you the free content, really, which is a
No,
good
good
thing.
on them. That's awesome. That's a great way to play it.
Titanfall 2, guys, what do you guys want to see? You both have played, a good amount of Titanfall. If you could see something added to that game, like what do you see from Titanfall 2?
so
or what do you hope to see?
So I want to hear what Alex has to say, but before you do, I just want to say that Beyonce had one of the greatest videos of all time. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. If you've seen the video for Partition,
It
you
is
know that's true.
It's if you I put a ring on it.
Alright.
One of the things that he said in this quote and in this announcement was that they wanted to expand on the lore. Like he actually said that.
Yeah.
That could mean a lot of things. That could be like, oh, by the way, here's more Titans that y'all didn't know about. That adds to the quote unquote lore. Or, oh, we're on a different planet or whatever. But I think everybody's reading between the lines and really hoping that means campaign. And that
or
would
at least
be
story. Yeah.
yeah, that would be
I
nice.
I
That
don't
makes
see them
sense.
doing like a single player type campaign thing through a linear cinematic campaign. I don't see that happening. But what I think they could do to give a little bit more meat to the single player stuff, if people want to have that, it could even be co-op. They've got new modes added to Titanfall now. It's quite a bit different than it was when it launched. There's a lot of stuff
It's a
happening. They've
totally
got like
fucking
that,
different game.
They've got that sort
Yeah.
of horde like survive the waves of enemies and such. You could totally build something with like bookend stories, but more fleshed out than they had in Titanfall. But you could totally build something around that where you've got a cutscene and you're dropped in. You're in this new area now. You're fighting off guys. It wouldn't be a Modern Warfare style action romp through linear levels, but they could structure some cool 4-player co-op, maybe even bigger co-op style story structured stuff around that mode, I think.
Sure.
So, Alex, what are you looking forward to in Titanfall 2?
I think the obvious answer, which you already touched on, is going to be some more story. I mean, I'm kind of the resident like lore guy. In any game that I play, I always like experiencing the story as much as I do any sort of multiplayer competitive. So that's a given. That's kind of, I'm not even going to bother with that. You know what I want to see? And you guys are going to, oh, that's Alex. So ridiculous. I want to see Titan taunts. I want to be able to hit a button or any taunts really, like, but you spend it's such a high, like fast paced game that in pilot mode, I don't think that would ever work. But I think that it would be a really cool kind of one off thing to be able to hit a button and give the finger as a Titan. I think that would be amazing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Even just
Or
like even teabag another Titan just
yeah,
quickly.
yeah, yeah. Crouching. That's all you need. You don't even need an animation. Just
That's true.
just
Yeah.
give us crouch.
You can,
We'll
I guess you
figure
can
it
already
out.
do that. You can crouch in a Titan actually, right?
Can you?
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think you
I've
can.
never tried.
I think you can crouch
You
that
can
down
totally
slightly.
crouch in a Titan.
Yeah, so
Oh
you
man,
can
I
already
play so I
teabag,
play
I
it so
guess.
like balls out when I play in my Titan. I'm like directly in people's face,
Yeah,
so I never would even try.
I forget about
Um,
that.
so, but no, I would love a Titan taunt feature. I was joking around with a couple of guys before, and I said, what if you had a rude core you could activate, where if your Titan goes nuclear, your Titan kind of just like gives the finger from both hands, and you eject and explode. I think that would be amazing.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I want to see personally.
Very cool.
Nice. Some more
Drew?
expression to your character. Like I said,
Definitely.
I think something I'd like to see is more enemy variety. I think if you look at this game, one of the real, like, I don't know, I think there's an identity issue where like you have no fucking clue and do not care one bit if you're on IMC or on the militia side.
Yes.
So
Good God, I know.
So why even have that? So I would like to see some kind of, I don't know, just shake up the fucking enemies a little bit. And I'm not saying like, I don't think it'd be a bad idea to make a quote unquote zombies mode or something like that. But like have like a monster battle or something like that. Like maybe a boss fight mode or whatever where the four of us drop in Titans and we fight off wave after wave of like enemy AI that are just like the normal enemies that we have in Titanfall 1, but maybe they're like monsters or just some kind of different skin. And then at the end of the wave, instead of it being like, hey, look, more Titans or whatever, it's a giant fucking monster or some shit. Like that'd be pretty rad. Just something that shakes up the gameplay.
And I want to make a quick addendum to mine really quick. Just to add on to it. Customization in general is really great as far as your loadouts go and stuff, but I would like to see maybe color palettes or model changes, a la the insignias that you can get for the emblems you get for Titans, but just something that's a little bit more fleshed out. Because I'll be honest, when I'm playing with other people, aside from seeing their gamer tags, I have no idea who is who. Unless my reticle's red, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So to kind of
like,
piggyback on yours and add to mine,
when you
I'd like to see
target somebody,
some identity there.
A lot of times when you target somebody, like you're targeting a friend and his thing doesn't pop up, so you're just wasting ammo on that guy, and you're like, oh, wait.
Yep.
No, it's a teammate. Didn't look like a teammate because I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, it would definitely be nice to mix it up. Make it a little easier to identify friends out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that customization makes a lot of sense. I think it's something that would be easy for them to, if they ballooned. I don't know the size of Respawn right now. I think it was like 60 people when they made TF2 or Titanfall. But if they're working on growing along with the franchise, which it just makes sense that that's what they would be doing.
They have to be growing because if you look at a quote from him when they announced it, it says, "Yeah, so we're working on a sequel, no official name yet." Da 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 da.
Oh yeah, he said multiple teams.
Yeah, he says that's the main focus, but we're starting up a second team to do some smaller stuff too, like some exploratory, stuff as well. So
Yeah.
they're at the point now where there's big. I mean, the core Titanfall team. I wouldn't be surprised if it's twice the size as it was when they did Titanfall.
So if
and now
you're
they've got
looking at that
enough
size,
to splinter off, right?
If you're looking at like 100 to 300 people, then you definitely have room, time, and resources to be working on way more assets. And I have a feeling that's what we're gonna get. I have a strong feeling that Titanfall 2, even though it's gonna be multi-platform, is going to be very Xbox focused, and it's going to be like the difference between Portal and Portal 2, the difference between Halo and Halo 2. Like it's gonna be just this huge explosion of like, holy shit, they really threw everything in with the kitchen sink here. Mm-hmm. And I think
sorry, go ahead.
I think that's going to be a huge boon for those people and their confidence, and it's just going to put Respawn on the map. As far as I think Titanfall did a great job for the resources that they had available. I think it was billed as a bigger game than it actually was, and so it did really well for what it was. But the public reception right now is that like, oh, and then Titanfall was supposed to be the next big thing and it wasn't. Like, yeah, the Titanfall was supposed to be the next big thing because that's what Xbox's marketing said, not because anybody at Respawn was like, yeah, we're just here to basically fuck everybody's life up and, like, you know, reinvent video games. Like, no one said that from Respawn, you know? Like, they just made the best game that they could.
And
And
they
then
made
all
a
the,
great fucking game, though. I mean,
yeah,
what's so great about Titanfall is just the core gameplay itself, right? Like you can tell they focused on balancing and the speed
it
and
felt so
the
fucking good.
maneuverability.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's insane, and that's what's really important for Titanfall 2, as they most likely will move into a new engine because that source engine that they're using is insanely out of date. It's been heavily modified. You know, there's a new source engine that's
Yeah.
been just announced, but that's very important. If they're going to build on a new engine, it has to feel like Titanfall feels. It's so important to that core experience that they
Oh, it
get that
will.
right
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
My big thing, what I would like to see is probably just like more variation in the Titans themselves. It would be really cool to see something that wasn't like a bipedal up there that had different abilities. I think it would be really cool if you could
Oh
drop
yeah,
down something that was almost like
like a
spider.
spider tank.
Yeah, and like you know the bipedal ones can make it down the narrow alleyways. The spiders can't, but the spider ones might be able to climb on the top of just like a one-story building or
Or
something.
just
And
have like heavy ass artillery.
exactly. And then you could just climb up this little ass building. It can't do the tall ones, but maybe it has a certain height it can get up to, and it just gets up there. You can leave it as a turret. Maybe Alex, I didn't even think about this until you started talking about customization, but I think it would be a little bit too far for Titanfall 2 probably. But in the Transformers games in the online multiplayer, you could build like your own Transformer, and it would be
Oh yeah, I
really
love
fucking
that.
cool if there was a side mode, almost like you go into the factory in a sense and like build your fucking Titan, and they have maybe three or four, well they've already got three types, but like you know like five maybe six variations that you can build upon and then tweak that so it's not just three spider tanks with different colors and
Oh yeah, you
insignias.
swap out your engine and whatever else. Yeah.
Exactly, you can mix and match like a basic Lego set. That would be really fucking cool.
That's
See,
not
I
gonna
love
happen.
mech games. No, it's not gonna happen.
No,
I
of course not, but it would be really rad.
That's good, but well, neither is my press F to disrespect fucking add-on either. Um,
If they open up the
no,
game to modders, I could see that becoming a
oh my
mod for
God.
You're such a
Titanfall.
fucking PC gamer. You said press F to disrespect instead of press X.
Oh yeah, my bad. No, I love mech games in general. I'm a huge mech game enthusiast, and the idea of being like when this game came out, I was like, oh my god, I hope I can customize these things. That's one of the coolest parts is switching, making little tweaks here and there, or switching out parts one way or another. Imagine being able to switch the arms on your Titan just to have these giant powered like mech fists, so that your melee attacks are more powerful, or whatever else. I think that would be a wonderful addition to the game.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. How long have we been going today, guys? What are we
A
at?
long fucking
An hour
time.
five, probably.
Oh shit, eh? What do
Yeah,
you
but
guys?
we've been Skyping for like 2 hours. So.
I know it's hard to tell what's been going on now. I'm lost track of all kinds of time. There's lots of other news to talk about, but should we just like roll in? You guys want to pitch each other some video games?
Let's do it.
Sure.
I wish I had prepped for this. So you guys go first.
This was your
Alex,
fucking
let me hear
idea.
from you. I know.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I was like, God damn. I hope
I
I
know.
can get some time to think.
I am officially the worst person when it comes to like fucking planning and organizing shit like this. I like to just show up and go with it.
Yeah, I feel you. I'd say if I had to pitch a game, I mean I could go the absolutely ridiculous route. But I am loosely working on something. This is a pipe dream game, but I'm going to go ahead and out it here because I don't think it's going to make a difference. So my idea is a game. It's called Mighty Beard, right? And in Mighty Beard you play yeah. In Mighty Beard you play as a Viking, and the game opens up. It's going to play very SNES side scroller beat 'em up style. Okay. The game opens up and you are sitting in a mead hall, and you're just this storied warrior of your tribe, and you are just the baddest dude in town.
So the
And
beginning of
there are
Castle
women serving you
Crashers?
drinks. Say what?
Is this the beginning of Castle Crashers?
You know what's funny? Maybe I don't know. I never played that
I
game.
hate you.
I know I'm a terrible person. But anyway, so a portal opens up and an evil wizard shows up, and he just has this trashy, like shitty mustache. And a bunch of undead people come in and they kill all your guys in your mead hall, and you're fighting them off. But he ends up casting this giant like spell that steals your beard away, right? Because he's jealous that he can't grow a good beard. So then you proceed through the game, level to level, unlocking new increments of facial hair growth by beating bosses who have been imbued with your facial hair power, because your facial hair it's so majestic that it's been imbued with power by the gods.
It's
right?
got layers. It's layered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the idea here's where the game gets beyond being a ridiculous story. Here's where it's cool is you have a health meter, and you also have a blood meter. Your beard feasts on blood in order to charge up its power. So the blood of your enemies will charge your beard power, and then you can use special attacks, which will include everything from turning your beard into two giant fists that you can then walk on and attack aerial creatures with your hands and legs. Uh, your beard pierces the ground and travels across a level and like spears a guy up from the ground. Whatever, or being able to summon great beards from throughout time and space. At
Are
which
these are
point you,
these just beards with arms and legs, or are they attached
no,
to
no,
a
no.
person?
No, they're actually attached to the person, but it's just like over exaggerated ridiculousness. Like you can call in like what's his name? The Galapagos Islands got Charles Darwin. You call in Charles Darwin and just like a herd of animals, but all made of facial hair come out of his beard and like murder everything on the screen. Or Abraham Lincoln, shows like just all kinds of weird shit. I've got ideas for days on
You know,
this
the
one.
more you talk about it, the more I'm also like visually, I'm kind of like picturing it having the brutal legend aesthetic. You know, do you
Nope.
Yes,
remember that game?
yes,
That's
yes.
not what I was
Just
picturing
yeah,
at all.
just
Just like
I'm
a
imagining.
crazy over the top
Oh yeah,
beard, crazy shit,
everything will
rock and
be
roll, and
everything will be absolutely insane. All the guys are jacked. All the undead people are terrifying. But I want to do it in a SNES era kind of 16-bit pixel art style.
okay, all right, I'm
That's
down with that.
that's my goal. That's my dream game.
I like that. I'd play that.
Yeah. Right.
Drew, what do you got?
Um,
Would you play Alex's game?
Fuck yeah!
Does that sound like something you want to play?
Especially if it played like Castle Crashers. I just love that I picture all the different bosses, having like different famous facial hair, like Freddie Mercury facial hair, and then
Yeah.
like all this
Hitler's.
different crazy,
You gotta fight
Hitler
mustache
facial
at some
hair,
point.
and then
Yep.
but like as you get them, you can swap them out, or you can like combine them or layer them or something like that.
That's
Anyways.
amazing.
I have
dig
two ideas for games. One of them I've mentioned on the show before, a long time ago, that I'll just throw out real quick and see if it catches traction. If not, I'll rely back on my GTA fantasy. So in my like ideal world, looking at the trend of like co-op that isn't really co-op because you're not just like playing alongside someone directly, and I came up with this idea when we started hearing that more and more games are going to be always online, and perpetual worlds were trying to be more of a thing in console games. So I was picturing something along the lines of like a prototype Infamous type game where you have like their huge open world, but you have like powers and shit, so traversal and picking up cars and throwing them and doing all this crazy shit is kind of the norm. But
Okay.
there's a huge problem with those types of games because you get so beastly that there's just no fucking like there's no story or compelling narrative or anything that would go along with it. So I was picturing a game that you start off playing co-op with a friend. So me and Alex are two bad dudes with some powers. Maybe we'll just make it bad dudes. And like as you're going along, we're trying to kill this guy. We have like a nemesis. He's got powers. We're getting more powers. He's getting more powers. Then we fight the shit out of him, and halfway through the game, we kill him and we win. Except now Alex is my nemesis. Like Alex is the bad guy in my game, and I'm the bad guy in his game. And we're both
Oh shit.
in this like perpetual world fucking shit up, and we're sending our goons out to fucking kill each other and stuff. And the end of the game is we fight each other, and we both have like varied leveled up powers that we've used using some kind of RPG system. That like I have, ice power, and I can fucking fly and stomp and do all this shit, and he's got like Spider-Man mixed with like electro powers and shit like that. Like who fucking knows? But
So that would create an interesting idea because so I would be with you during at least half of your level up process, so I would have an idea as to what you're capable
yeah,
of.
you kind of we're having fun, right? We're like, oh man, I'm doing this. Yeah, what do you got? Oh, you got this, man. That's fucking rad. And then halfway through, we're like, oh fuck, like he's
Wait
like,
a minute, I got to deal with that
yeah,
now.
yeah. And then once it like the real problem with that is like asymmetric play. Like how do I play when you're not playing, and how do you play when I'm not playing? But
Sure.
this isn't like an end of the world quandary because people play online together all the fucking time. So there is story beats and points where you have to be playing together to like progress past this certain point in the game. up until that, you'll just always have shit to go do. Like, I mean, it's not hard to populate a world with shit that's always fucking going on. Like, look at any Ubisoft game.
It is shit, yeah.
And then halfway through the game, basically, we don't have to play online at the same time anymore until we hit like certain moments where maybe our characters, because of the story, fucking bump into each other or something like that. And then at the end, to finish the game, we have to play online at the same time and basically boss fight each other. So
I could be down with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
My GTA fantasy is, so pick like a city the size of San Andreas, just did like the actual city of Los Santos in GTA 5. And then after a certain point in the story in that GTA game, your character fucking flees to go to another city or something to get out of town. And so you actually go to the airport and fucking fly to another town. So the other town is a totally different town. So let's say we start in Los Santos. Now we go to, we could use established cities, but I'd like to see something that isn't already there. So not Vice City or Liberty City, but like whatever the hell they call Chicago in GTA games. So now we go to Chicago, and now Chicago is totally different than Los Santos. And then you go from Chicago to fucking like Tokyo or something like just entirely different. So ultimately the game would have 3 different cities. But once you get to the next city after a certain point in that progress, now you can go back. And now you can travel back and forth between 2 cities that are totally different. And then once you hit like near the end of the game, you have 3 cities to travel back and forth between, and they're totally different. They have different like people in them and different types of missions and all this stuff. And basically it's just a uber GTA game.
Huh. I can get down with that. I mean, I suffer from, I think, what a lot of other people suffer from when it comes to giant online or giant world, like open world games like that, in that I never finish them. I just kind of show up and fuck shit up for a while, and I'm like, oh, that was great. I threw a couple cars. Next, But the being able to vary the city, I think, would be enough to keep me going, because that is kind of how I always get bored. Is like I kind of start to explore most everything. Once I unlock all the sections of a city in GTA, I'm pretty much done. And after that, I log in and screw stuff up.
GTA 5, it's all unlocked from the start. Like just from the moment you say go, you can drive all over the fucking map. You can go anywhere. Yeah.
Of course, when you said Tokyo, that sparked it for me. I'm like,
I mean, honestly, when I first started thinking about this, the cities were Chicago, Paris, and Tokyo, or Chicago, Venice, and Italy, or Venice and Tokyo, or something like that. But like these very, very, very different cities that have really different feels, and the story would take you to each city. And originally, this was what I was saying before GTA like 5 was announced. I was really hoping that they were going to have multiple locations, because that was kind of the deal with San Andreas. Like you had Los Santos, but then you also had like Las Vegas and some other fucking town and stuff. But it was too much, because it was all shoved into one place. I like the idea of like when I want to fucking go down to the airport, hop in a plane, and like loading screen or whatever, I just ride a fucking plane to fucking LA or whatever, and then fly back or whatever. Like I don't know, I could just see that happening. So Rory, what's your game? We've vamped and we've talked for this long, and now you've had plenty of time to think about this. Even though
I know I scribbled the notes. Well,
what's your game, boy?
The reality is I've thought about this idea for a while, but just never in great detail. Like if I could create any game though, and I had the budget and the team, the resources to do what's in my imagination, as vague as that is right now, I think I would make something. It would be a single player game, story driven. Do you guys know the movie Gleaming the Cube?
I've heard of it.
Okay,
is that the skateboarding game?
It is. It's a movie. It's a skateboarding movie.
Yeah.
It's 1989. Christian Slater. That movie though has a special place in my heart. And it's about it's a Christian plays a
Somewhere
skateboarder
Jeff Gerstmann is laughing his ass off.
Right. His adopted brother is killed when he discovers that the shop that he works in sends weapons to Vietnam instead of medications. Yada yada yada. The police think it looks like a suicide, but Christian Slater. He knows better. So with his skateboard and his skateboarding friends, including Tony Hawk, they go on this mission to like basically figure out the crime. And there's some great skateboarding stunts and pool riding. And it's like it was a really cool movie when I was a kid, and it's a guilty pleasure today.
How have I never seen
But
that?
anyway, I bring that up because if I was going to create a game, it would be somewhat based on that premise, but it would take place in a Blade Runner style city. Do you remember the I'm using examples here. Remember the Good Samaritan Unreal Engine demo with the dude on
Absolutely.
the rooftop, you know? Okay,
Yep.
so imagine that visual. Like
So it's
that's
raining
what
all the time. There's lots of neon.
it's wet, it's neon. There is daytime because the game has skateboarding in it, but I imagined a game like
You can't skateboard in the dark.
when I used to play Skate, I loved that game, but it would drive me nuts when you were finally able to get off your board. It controlled like shit, like it felt bad. But when you're
Yeah.
on your board, it felt amazing. And I was like, why can't I have a game that has me kick the board off and then I can run around and it feels like the best third person action game out there, and then I throw it under my feet and it plays like fucking Skate now. So my idea for a game is a single player story driven game that has the visuals of the Good Samaritan demo in a very Blade Runner-esque city. You play a guy whose brother is killed and nobody wants to deal with it, and you set out to solve this fucking crime. And the gameplay involves a gorgeous open world. You've got your skateboard on your back. You can be running through the alleyways and jump off the wall, throw your skateboard off your back under your feet and grind around. It's got some Tony Hawk elements in that sense, but it's a mishmash of a bunch of genres, but mainly something like Skate and a great open world third person action game with control and animation along the lines of Uncharted as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have like so many details in my head. I just have these like flashes when you get ideas and these images, and I can see some of the settings and I can see the world and the
You know
visuals.
what I think of when you were talking about like he's just walking around with the skateboard on his back? Shenmue.
Dude, no joke.
my God.
No joke. On my notes here, Shenmue was part of my like description, and I took that away and was like, no, I won't bring up Shenmue. But that's the very first
No,
thing
like
that I have stretched out
Shenmue
on my pad
taking
here.
place in Deus Ex, like
Dude,
in
this
the
is
Deus
like-
Ex Human Revolution aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of like a Max Payne vibe to it, right? Like the first one, where he's like, it's just super like you're grizzled, you're pissed off, you're like fucking.
Well, that's the thing,
trying
and
to
you're
get down to
young
the
though,
bottom
too,
of this.
right?
Well, no,
Like,
for
I see
sure.
this character being like a
But
like
he's
a
angsty.
Delson
He's
aged
young and
tops.
like super
Exactly.
angsty, right? Yeah.
Exactly. He's like a Delson Rowe from Infamous Second Son in the future, and a little rough around the edges.
Played by
But
Troy
yeah.
Baker.
But I just exactly played by Troy Baker. I would be
Because who
down.
isn't these days?
I would be down for that.
I'm Troy Baker. by
But
the
yeah,
way.
but the whole game has definitely got this like very not depressing, but like it's an adult game with like adult themes in it. You just happen to be playing a younger character who's a little angsty and has a skateboard.
Well, as long
and
as there's
can
a
kick
woman
some
with
ass,
3
too.
tits, I'm okay.
Well, I can't promise that, but 4 tits is a guarantee.
4 tits. 4
We
tits
have
is
to
guaranteed.
progress,
Box quote.
We're taking it up a notch here, guys.
You gotta level up the tits.
I will tell you right now that pretty much hit every wet dream bullet point for me. That's a great idea, Roy.
What
Right?
what
Even
would the
though
I love Cyberpunk. I love Blade Runner. I love
Skateboards.
skateboarding, and I love rain. So that's all. I'm right
It's
there.
a very vague
tits.
idea now, but I can see it in my mind. I can see this thing that I would be playing, and I'm like,
Oh,
fucking
hold on.
Ryan.
I
Fucking
just said
Bill.
the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. Troy Baker. Bill, you have to tweet that. Bill, you have to tweet that right fucking now. He said Troy Baker was the person who made the original sound in Pong.
Yo, I almost want to steal that shit right now. Let's see. Yo,
Nuts.
William, tweet that out, and we will all be
Oh
retweeting that
god,
shit.
yeah.
That is
All right,
awesome.
that's a perfect way to
Absolutely.
fucking go out.
That's so good.
That's a great note. Oh my god.
Holy fuck. All right. So how do we wrap this up normally?
We don't. It's terrible. We always just crash land it.
Sick
Don't
hip hop
forget,
beats.
don't forget to go to ratedmgaming.com's r8dmgaming.com, and if you want to see more about us and learn about us and our links and everything, go to ratedmgaming.com/about-rated-m. That's rated M spelled out RATEDM. Twitter handles, guys. They're on that page actually.
They're
why
on
don't
the
you,
page.
Why don't you
Yeah,
go?
Alex,
Why don't
say
you
it-
go to that
say it out loud.
page and tweet
Yeah,
at
go to the
us?
page. Go to the page. But say it out
Motherfucker.
loud, Alex, so people can get on Twitter immediately while listening to the show.
Okay, so if you would like to get a hold of me on Twitter, you can find me at WAHIRSCHWA Hirsch.
Oh my God. It's always trouble when you have to fucking spell it out for people.
I know. I should really change it, but I never will.
I'm at Drew_Freeman85. So
And
figure that out.
you can figure that out. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm Rory at Red Eye Games Live.
We are at Rated M Podcast on Twitter. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please give us a rating. Please subscribe. Thank you. We love you. Please join us in our Facebook group. That's where we all hang out all week and talk, shoot the shit. Tune in live next week. We broadcast live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central at twitch.tv/ratedm4podcast. And I think that's it, dude.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Later.
See you guys next week.
Later.
Oh, I guess I'm the one broadcasting. Bye, everybody.
You are.